Welcome to episode 34. We left our heroes feasting on an owlbear as they pondered their new situation. Cast back into history. Somehow, light years, miles, whatever you want to say, away from home, left with only themselves and their equipment that was on them at the time. Every other person that they traveled with, everyone that they had known, locked far away.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I just made that up off the top of my head.
Very nice. For your own turn at improv.
I try. So, you guys are here. What do you wish to do? You are currently in a field. Let's say you had a nice long rest. The sun is coming up on a new morning.
I think it's time for a vacation. We've got like 3,000 years to come up with a solution to the problem. Or however long it is.
I mean, that's
Time
one
is a
way
flat
to see,
circle.
but
So what?
Time is a flat circle. You'll figure it out.
What is this vacation idea you speak of?
Oh, it's where you take time out from, like, say, working, and you take a break, and you kind of go, relax, recharge your batteries. In your case, literally recharging your batteries.
This seems counterproductive to being working and efficient.
Yes, that's the idea.
Scandalous.
I would try to explain to Alpha that there are more than one way to be successful and have a meaningful life, but I don't think he's ready for that yet. It kind of goes against all of his efficiency beliefs.
He is literally the personification of the Protestant work ethic.
Yeah. So,
All right. Well, here. Let me roll something. Oh, yeah. From over the hill, you see a group of people moving. There are oxen towing carts. The people appear to be dressed in plain colors, nothing fancy or flashy.
so probably just normal commoners.
They appear to be working their way opposite of you. So, say you're moving roughly north, they're moving roughly south. Based on your previous episode's direction.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really seem like anything worth investigating.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm just kind of inclined to let them go and not interact with them at all because, I think in some way, well, maybe not Alpha, but Dane is definitely kind of despondent and a little traumatized, and Castros is very despondent right now. Ray, how are you feeling?
I mean, I have no idea how we got here, how we can get back, or what we can even do now that we're in the past. We don't know we're in the past. We may have saw young Theseus, but who knows? Maybe this is some kind of other dimension. Maybe, there's... Who knows? We don't know for sure what has happened. We can't be entirely sure that that's what's happened. There's no telling we're stuck in the past. There may be a way to get back.
Exactly. So Castros isn't thinking very clearly right now.
So dismissive.
To be fair, we do not have all of the variables needed to make an assumption or a conclusion.
Yeah.
We have one piece of evidence.
And Dane's figuring his gut feeling is that we did get thrown back in time. And so he's kind of tired of just, kind of charging headlong from one weird situation to another. And so now he just kind of would like to, find some help, but someone that'll actually tell tell it to us straight instead of talking in circles, and come up with a plan, like a possible long range plan. Because I mean, we literally have years now to try and set something up where, when the old ones actually do start to wake up in the future, maybe we can have some kind of a trap or something set up for them to kind of blunder into. Because at least two of them, we basically know the time and the date that they are going to awake, and maybe there's something we can do about it. I mean, we actually have time now to come up with some kind of a complex scheme to kind of take care of the problem. This is what he's thinking. Alpha, do you have any kind of what are you thinking?
Oh, I believe if you didn't have the burden of these organic bodies, you would not be so pressed for time, as I agree with your decision. I feel that this is very appropriate. We can now take time and plan actions accordingly.
Okay. So, Castros?
Yep.
I would like to reassure you that, we will find a way back to Margaret and Jeremy. So wherever we are, whenever we are, we will find a way back, one way or another.
That is true. We have there are multiple scenarios in which we can find them again. We don't know, even say we were put back in time, we do not know that they, are still back in the present or future or wherever or whenever. There's definitely ways. It's fine. We'll find a way, yes.
All right. So we're rested. We're full of owlbear.
Yeah, there's enough left over for breakfast.
I would assume.
Lovely.
I would assume there's enough left over for breakfast and to jerk meat for the journey if we were so inclined.
Yeah, I'll save some owlbear jerky for when we find Margaret and Jeremy again.
There you go. As you're doing that, you see the group gets closer to you, and you can make out more details. They appear to be very, very modestly dressed, very plain. White shirts, kind of darker grays wherever something's not white. There doesn't appear to be like any fasteners or buttons. Everything is very loose, almost pulled on. The carts look handmade, but not by not like by a farrier, by like someone who is not really a professional at it. They just kind of learned how to do it. And yeah.
Trying to wonder, is there any other settlements around here, or are they just kind of the only other sign of humanoid life?
That's it. You have not seen any other settlements.
Where are they heading? Where are they coming from? Where do they come from? Where do they go?
You can go ask.
Where they come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
What I'm not gonna say fear, but gut instinct tells me they might be Margaret's ancestors. Or maybe Margaret herself.
Since they were stuck in time for a while.
Yeah, since they were stuck in time for a while.
Oh.
Alright. Well, let's go greet them and see what we can see.
Suppose so. Could not hurt.
Okay. You walk up, and a few of them kind of shy away, and then one man with kind of a longish beard and a flat top hat comes walking over. And, how are you now, travelers?
Hello, sir. From whence you come and where are you heading?
Oh, we are travelers from many of the cities about. We are come together in a common cause to a new settlement down by the Great Lake.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah. Ah. I'll scan the faces of the other people, see if there's anyone that I could potentially recognize.
Roll an investigation, I guess.
Well, that was a 7. I just kind of too desperate, and I just see kind of blurred images. Blurred
You
faces.
look around and you see young people, various ages. No one that particularly sticks out to you, but he still, he just kind of watches you and then says, "Well, fellow travelers, are you interested in joining us? We are deep believers in many faiths, but we choose to come together to live a simpler life, one away from this new technology that seems to be taking over all of the larger cities."
Oh?
Yeah, what kind of technology are you talking about?
Things that spin clothes for you automatically without the gentle touch of the hand. Things that plow the field and turn entire furrows of soil with ease instead of the sweat of the brow. It's an affront to nature and those things that we find sacred.
These people speak to me. But what's your opinion on magic, then?
Well, we have some practitioners of it in our group, though we generally discourage it, for we feel that there is much risk in maintaining the balance of nature when magic is used.
Yeah, Dane just kind of waves his hand. Yes. Okay, that's all very good. Tell me, good sir, do you happen to have a young lady named Margaret in your party?
Oh, I don't know anyone named Margaret. And he turns, Anita, come over here. And you see a rather plain-looking woman in a little bonnet come walking over. My dear, would you call for Chastity and Charity and see if either of them know anyone by the name of, what did you say again? Margaret?
Yes.
Margaret. Last name?
Don't really have one.
Interesting. My family, we're the Dicks. So pleasure to meet you.
And what's your first name?
Noah.
Noah Dick. Got it.
Mhm.
Okay. Fine name, sir. Fine name.
Thank you. And one of the children comes over. Is, oh, daughter Chastity, could you go ask your cousin Lavina if she knows anyone named Margaret?
Is Lavina's last name Dick as well?
Well, yes. She is my brother's daughter.
Just checking. Oh my goodness. Your parents must have hated you guys. What is your brother's name?
Oh, my brother is Seymour.
Got it. Perfect. Very fitting.
It was.
No name matters except for Margaret.
Yes, it was quite confusing when I first met my wife, and both my brother and her father's name is the same. We had quite the laugh over it.
Yes, yeah, I imagine. What was your wife's father's name?
Oh, Seymour as well. We found it. Yes.
So what was your wife's last name before you married?
Oh, she was a snatch.
Got it. Okay.
Yes. Oh, Seymour and his wife Ada were so sweet.
Uh-huh. Yep.
They were quite. Though I do have to say, I was the one that had to provide all of the dowry. They were quite tight.
They were quite what?
They were quite tight. That man, you would pinch a penny like you wouldn't believe.
I can believe it. I can definitely believe it. All right, okay. Well, tell you what. We shall just kind of walk in your direction for a while until we find out whether there is a Margaret in your party or not.
Oh, excellent. Oh, is that a leftover carcass there? Is there still meat available?
Yes, I imagine there is.
Oh, excellent. I have spent the majority of my time preparing for this journey, stuffing my meat into casings. I'm quite good at smoking sausages. In fact, before we left, the air was filled with the sweet smell of dick meat.
Balls too. Have you heard of the Schweddy family? They make wonderful assortments of balls in all shapes and sizes.
That is fascinating. I will bring it up with the elders. In fact, if this meat of this creature is available, perhaps we can collect the elders together. You know, many hands make for far less work, and it wouldn't be very hard for us to throw an impromptu sausage party.
I think I'm about done with this line of joke making. There's only so much I can take.
Hey, right now Dane is really cursing the fact that he imagines that this group of pilgrims are probably not into alcohol, because he could really use a cask of ale right about.
All right. Well, as you guys walk along with them, stories of the newcomers filter out, and the children all gossip and talk to each other. And finally, one of the children comes back. Let's just say it was Charity, and she says, "There was an old grandmother in one of the family lines by the name of Margaret. They said that they were going to name the one who is about to be born after her. There is a pregnant woman about 5 wagons back."
Okay. Guster's just gonna hang his head. There's not much you can do with an unborn baby. kind of awkward, kind of weird. Can't really. We need to get back to our own time.
We will eventually. We just need to kind of figure out what we're doing.
Alright.
Well, do you guys want to break off, or just kind of keep walking with them, or what's the plan?
Yeah, I mean,
we don't really have anything better to do, but at the same time, if we ever did want to see them again, we know where their settlement is going to be.
Yeah. There's really no reason to keep walking with them. We'll just get... eventually we'll get dragged into their particular timeline where... I mean, I guess that's one way to do... Well, except I don't think we want to meet ourselves in the future. That would be a paradox.
That would be.
So anyway, I think we'll just kind of let them go on our way. We need to actually come up with some kind of a plan for how we're going to proceed, whether we want to possibly go back to the librarian, see if we can find somebody else that might be able to help. I don't know. I'm kind of grasping at straws here. I would love for someone to have some kind of an idea of we can go or what we can do from here.
Well, Noah bids you farewell. Says, if you ever wish to come hang with us dicks again, you're always welcome.
I'm sure we'll see you sometime down the road.
Put the emphasis on time.
Yeah.
To it.
Right.
That means Jeremy won't be born for another couple centuries.
All right. So, guys, what do we do now?
Well, you say you want to make traps or set up ways to prevent the old ones, but also have a vacation.
The vacation remark was just kind of joking.
Well, why not have a vacation though? You know, we could take some time to gather our bearings for once we don't have anywhere to be. We can kind of just do what we need / want to do.
Yeah. Someone said there's a maximum. I'm trying to remember, it was like you can only vacation for 2 years.
I'm not planning on Azentuary.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to remember who that was. I was rereading an old novel, and he mentioned one of the. I want to say it was like Jules Verne or someone saying that.
What if you vacation for longer than what'd you say? 2
Like
years?
no one. Yeah, you can't vacation more than 2 years.
I mean, there's probably some truth to that, because any longer than that, and it's no longer a vacation, it's a lifestyle. And
Yeah.
if you can afford to vacation for longer than 2 years, then you tend to be a driven individual, and you would get really, really, really bored, and you'd be off doing something.
Exactly.
Uh,
To be fair, before I met you guys, I vacationed my whole life, so I do not see your point.
well, then you weren't vacationing. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, alright.
All right, so we need to find someone that we need to find someone that has a really good concept of time and how it works, you know, kind of time travel, or someone that we can actually talk to that's going to listen to us and not say, well, that's 3,000 years in the future, why worry about it, you know? Someone that's actually going to kind of help us come up with a strategy for defeating the old ones when they actually do finally start to wake up. I guess we can go to the librarian. I guess that would be my first reaction, is to find the library and the librarian and kind of ask him for advice. Does anybody
Makes sense
else
to me.
Yeah, does anybody else have any ideas or anything?
No, I mean, it's kind of hard to figure out what to do.
I know, that's why I'm
I like the idea of investigating these technologies that this person mentioned.
I'm good.
Yeah,
Duality of man.
I don't really know what he's talking about, because
Castros puts a peace symbol earring in each ear and writes "Born to Kill" across his forehead.
there you go. That actually is very fitting.
About, yeah. Castros becomes a hippie.
Well, no, it's from Full Metal Jacket or Platoon, I think.
Full Metal Jacket. It's his commentary on the duality of man.
Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. That was a weird movie.
Why do we have to come back to the time where, like, all this new technology started coming in? Why couldn't we have come back to a time just before it?
But we don't even really know what technology about, because, you know, where we're from, but it sounded like he was talking about like the internal combustion engine, and we didn't see anything like that even in our time, so
I think he was just talking about like the auto looms.
You might have been talking about the wheel for all we know, except that
No.
these carts.
No. Something technological.
So I do like you questioning why when, or wait, why then?
Yeah,
Right.
true. Is there something we need to know at this particular time? Maybe. Well, I guess it's fine for now, this new technology, as long as it doesn't start overtaking everything and, you know,
Well,
disrupting
I mean,
the peace, the balance.
depending on your interpretation of time and time travel, if time is linear, then we know that technology is not going to take over everything, because we're however long we are in the future, and technology isn't taking over anything. If time is, well, I mean, if you subscribe to the infinite universes theory, then you can't actually travel back in time, and any act of traveling back in time, you basically start a whole new universe where it seems like you're back in time, but you're really not, because now you're in a whole separate universe. So, you know, it depends on how philosophical we wanted to get on this one. All right, well,
Major. As previously mentioned, philosophy major.
all right, well, if no one has any other thing,
Dwarven philosopher / quantum physicist.
There you go. Yeah, right. Anyway, okay. So
yeah,
as far as trying to accomplish our mission, because we still will have to try to accomplish that mission, I think the librarian is probably the best place to start, and then we can possibly go from there.
Yeah,
Okay.
essentially. If anything, librarian will give us somewhere to aim for. But if not, you know, it wouldn't be too bad. Just relax, spend time in the woods, jump through some trees,
I mean,
start collecting teeth,
the library is
pick up some hobbies.
in the woods, I think.
Oh yeah, there you go. But we could stay in the woods, you know.
Yeah, it's not really.
Just cause.
It's not really my bag, baby. All right. Well, let's trawl out of the library.
All right. You begin that journey. You roughly know, the way.
Yeah. We've been there a couple times.
A few, yeah.
No, so it takes you a while. You roughly recognize the path, if you will, the route that you take. The landscape hasn't changed that much. There's obviously a much smaller population. You see the areas where you would know a road to be well established and worn to be relatively light, like more like a path and less of a paved mode of transit. But you eventually work your way up to that area, and you find the spot where you would expect to find a simple stone square, but instead it is an elaborate brick-laid facade that looks just like a glorious rounded off entrance to a library building, with books carved into stone, symbols that you don't recognize, but they seem to look like symbols of the constellations and, orbs and different things all around it. And still where that door is, where that you had descended into previously, is there, but it's not just a plain stone hole. It is a just beautiful chunk of granite that has been, polished and hewn.
Yep, I was kind of expecting that. All right.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess we head on in.
Well, you descend into the bowels of the library, if you will, and in the entrance that was previously just a darkened tunnel, you now find it illuminated from overhead with glowing crystals and tapestries painted on, or tapestries hanging from the wall. Everything just looks shiny and pretty and nice.
Very nice. That means the librarian really let the place go.
Apparently. Wonder what happened.
I don't know.
Did he lose his pet sloth? His one true companion in this world?
All right. Well, we're off to see the librarian.
Okay. So I'm assuming do you take that first door as you go down to the right?
I would assume we would try and follow whatever path led to the librarian in the past.
Okay, so you go through the door and you see someone sitting at the desk. Hello, this is reception. What can I do for you?
Yes, we are looking for the librarian.
And do you have an appointment?
We do not, but we have very valuable information, and he's going to want to talk to us.
One moment. And you see like a flutter, almost like book pages being flipped, but it's within the receptionist's eyes flying through. And then they lean forward. An assessor will be with you shortly. Proceed down through the door to the south. You may wait in that room.
The golden ages of the librarian, I see.
Yep.
He has a receptionist and everything.
Yep.
Good for him.
All right. Well, we very obediently go to the waiting room.
All right.
Obedient.
You walk in, and there's a pretty nice waiting room. There's a couple of doors that you recognize as ones that you had used previously that led back out to the hallway, but this is now stocked with chairs and a little table. There appear to be, I don't know how to put it, circulars, parchments, if you will. Not books, but some parchments for you to partake in on the table as you wait. And just for fun, roll me a 1d12 and tell me what you get.
1d12?
Yeah.
I got a 12.
Okay. We're using my number. I just wanted to see. Because you have to wait there a while. So it ends up being about 4 hours in total. And you are just exhausted.
Holes in the wall.
Yep.
Dane's
what I
just gonna
expected. You're going to take off?
a nap. Take a nap.
Take a nap. Okay.
I'm going to take the parchment, read it at first, and then just slowly start to destroy it page by page.
Very nice. Well, after that time, how to put this? A short, maybe 4 foot tall, looks almost like a monk in robes, comes walking in. You can't really see any features, but they come up to you. No. Am to assess your information. Please follow me.
All right.
He leads you around into a couple of different rooms, and then finally you actually recognize this larger space where you have been through before. It is merely a door and a short hall away to get into the library proper. So, but this room is filled with desks, like a 1950s, throw a bunch of desks in a room and have everyone sit there to do accounting work or whatever.
You.
Yeah. He walks you over and signals for you to sit across from him, and then sits down, hands crossed. I must assess your information. What do you have for us?
All right. Well, Dane reaches into his pack, pulls out the scroll of the old ones that the librarian gave to me, unrolls it, shows it to the assessor, and said, "The librarian gave this to us several thousand years in the future when the old ones are starting to escape."
He looks incredibly confused, takes the parchment.
Well, no, I show it to him. I don't actually.
You just show it to him. Oh, do you unroll it and hold it up, or you just hold the
Yes.
parchment in like a roll?
No, I unroll it and hold it up and show it to him.
Okay. He looks at it and squints his eyes and... Your parchment is blank. I do not understand.
Means it hasn't been written yet. So Dane looks at it, turns around, looks at it, and just starts cussing a blue streak a mile wide.
He just says, "Yes, we know this language. It is already recorded. It has no more value here."
Yeah. Freaking literal beings.
You think that if they mostly seem to live a long time, you think that with that long lifespan they'd have a grasp of when to take things rhetorically.
No, they're like mushrooms. They're just kind of kept in the dark.
Well, what
So here's... Did they even have Warforged all the way back in this particular era?
This is a very good question.
Let's say no. Let's say this is like 3E era. Maybe 2E.
All right. Then Dane's gonna gesture at Alpha and say, "How about him?
Hello.
He does not exist in your era. There is all kinds of knowledge that is wrapped up in his existence."
You just see this like head tipping back and looking up at Alpha, and he's just in a momentary stupor.
I see an appreciation for that creation. Please, feel a little more.
Well, one moment, please. And he gets up and just bolts to the back. And
Fascinating.
he just,
I wonder if he's going to
they
find
just
more
leave.
acolytes.
now?
He leaves you. You're just left there alone for a few minutes, and then he comes back with two others that look just like him, and the others kind of tell him to. You can see that there's like some clicks and stuff as he gets motioned to the side, and the two others. Please follow us into the library.
And we
Everybody
do
can walk this way.
Talk this way. Yep.
All right. Well, you walk your way in, and they lead you right up to the librarian, who's sitting at a large desk. It looks almost like it was grown out of a tree, not like carved out of a tree, but they like encouraged a tree to grow into the form of a perfect desk for him.
Ugh.
Okay.
I hate troll nature.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it is a piece of nature that it wasn't like, they didn't kill a tree, they just grew a tree.
I know, but it's still wrong. They
Honestly,
they
it's
messed
still-
up the form of nature. Just let it be. The beautiful thing about nature is that it's perfectly.
Yeah, but it already comes in an almost infinite number of forms, and this is just one more form.
It's been helped.
So does clipping making a bonsai tree.
I don't exactly approve of that either. Just let it grow how it wants to. Who cares if your bonsai isn't aesthetic? Let it be.
Let it be. Let it be. Alright.
All right.
So the librarian is sitting there and gives the sign of welcoming you in and offering you a seat.
All right. Well,
Hey.
we sit.
Excellent. I cannot remember the voice I used for him in the past, so
It's kind of a breathy, kind of creepy voice.
basically what I was just using. Crap.
Not. I mean, there was different. It was along the same kind of veins, but it was a little bit more ghost-like, I think.
Okay.
I think just kind of more
About,
hollow,
yeah.
a little bit more hollow.
Kind of like old and
Yeah.
Okay.
worn down.
I'll try. I'll
Just-
try. Welcome to the library.
That's pretty close, I think.
Close. Yeah.
Okay, cool. You have a new being. Something full of information.
Why, yes. This is Alpha. His progenitor, a priest of Gond, manufactured him in the future. We have actually met before. Not that you would remember, because it's several thousand years from now. So, not that I would expect you to believe us, except that we have this. We have Alpha here, a being who does not exist in this time, apparently. So, he is kind of our proof that we are who we say we are, and that we have come from when we say we have come.
Let us speak. So, Alpha, roll me a persuasion really quick.
Alpha's persuasion. Oh, I think -1 on that.
That's fine.
9.
That beats my 6.
Oh, thank goodness.
So basically, you guys start just talking, and everyone else drifts off to sleep. You've heard all of Alpha's Gondian talk before. You're tired of it, but the librarian hasn't, so he's just records absolutely everything, every last bit of information.
All right.
Now I am very
And then
curious. If I have given him this information on Gond, but in the future he provides me the information on Gond, am I not my own educator?
Very possibly.
Yeah. Who wrote Beethoven's Fifth?
What's the story behind that? I haven't heard that.
Oh, it's a philosophical conundrum. It's you're a big fan. It's like your favorite musical play, and you travel back in time to meet Beethoven, but you find out that he actually got drunk, bumped on the head, whatever, so he didn't write it down, but you can't stand the idea of the world not having it. You know it by heart, so you write it and put it into his notes. And then, meet him, hang out, whatever, go back to the future. He thinks he wrote it, but it's a chicken and the egg thing. Did you write your own piece? Who started it?
Right. Yep. That is an interesting philosophical question.
But not one that we answer here.
Than the trolley conundrum.
Well, I mean, if you want to go that far, I mean, you could always just do the ship of Theseus, the other famous philosophical, question.
Then what is that?
There is a ship, and as the boards rot, you replace one at a time until all the boards have been replaced, and it's, still the ship being used, whatever. But then someone takes all of the original boards, even in their rotten state, restores them, and rebuilds the ship. Which one is the true ship? Because technically neither are, and they both are.
Yep. Yeah, because once you restore the rotten wood, then it's no longer... I mean, I guess if you restored it to its original state, then you've basically built the ship in its original condition.
But that does not negate the ship that has slowly had its boards replaced and still kept living and having adventures.
No, it absolutely does not. It's almost like the ship that got built is a copy of the original. But it's built. Yeah, that is a question without a real answer, I would think.
Yeah, it's meant to be along those same lines as the sound of one hand clapping or a tree falling on Casros, and if no one's around to hear it.
Casros.
Because you're in the woods.
Ray's in the woods too. She's a ranger. I'd be the one that gets a tree falling on me. I have good reflexes.
I don't know. It seemed funnier at the time.
The joke on Casros.
Now, see, I've always thought that, that the whole, if the tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, doesn't make a sound. I've always thought that was kind of, I don't know. My view on that was, yes, of course it makes a sound. It's, it's gonna still create the same vibrations and air displacement and shockwave, whether you're there to experience it and give it meaning or not.
But it's about perception modifying measurement. It's the same thing with like quantum mechanics. Once you observe the particle, you change the particle.
Yeah, Schrodinger's cat and all that.
Yeah,
until you
exactly.
actually open the box and view the cat
is neither alive nor dead.
Yeah.
I could intervene really quick. This podcast is not a philosophy thing. We're trying to play D&D here.
Exactly, and we do have a story here that we could continue on.
We play, but we teach.
Play, but also make you think.
That's right.
I don't know if our viewers appreciate it. Yeah, think of when we're gonna start playing the game again.
Hey,
guys.
Sometimes the real truth of D&D is learning about yourself.
There you go. And feel free to jump in at any time. Okay, so Alpha had a very nice long conversation with the library.
Yes, he has a great discourse.
Yes, great discourse. So, I'm assuming at the end of this great discourse, hoping the librarian actually believes our story?
Well, he records it all. I mean, he cannot deny that which is right in front of him. He witnesses the existence of Alpha and must, for now, take him at his word, for there is no other logical explanation of his existence.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
He's a librarian, not a politician. He can't deny what's in front of him. Politicians. Anyway, okay. All right.
You
we
have
get
your
distracted
opportunity.
again.
Where do you want to go now? What do you want to do? What do you want to say? I mean, you've got the librarian basically at your mercy.
Okay, so after this whole discourse, I'll kind of talk to the librarian and say, in our time, the old ones that right now the gods have locked away are starting to break free, and we need a strategy to either kill them or block them away. So we neither need to look at your resources that you have here, or maybe is it possible you can direct us to someone that can kind of understand this whole concept of going back and forth in time and might be able to think in deep enough and complex enough layers that we can use our time here in this time to potentially trap or kill the old ones in this far future time.
He folds his hands and goes into deep thought. Yes. There is one that I might recommend. Travel to the far end of the library. And you see him point, like, down between a couple of stacks, and as you kind of glance that way, you see there's a flicker of light down at the very end of a very long tunnel.
Ooh.
Yeah. He says, there is one there that may help you. He can be difficult. Korgid.
Say what?
Seek Korgid Van.
Porgy the Von. Interesting. This'll be
Okay.
fun.
Say just asking. He doesn't like live in the weir or anything, does he?
The librarian whips his head back. We do not do business with the weir.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
Cool, good to know.
Well, thank you, sir. You've been a big help as usual. We shall meet again.
I look forward to it. And he turns and he floats the opposite direction.
All right. So we shall go down this long hallway. And we shall go to the light.
It takes quite a while. The library is actually far larger than you expected. It bends and twists and winds, and every time you thought you were going in a straight line, it was actually more of a curve. So it takes quite a while to actually walk through all of the tomes and volumes that have been collected. Until...
Nothing.
Oh. Well, feel free to add. I'm happy for you to help world build. Eventually, you find a space that is less of a defined room and more like an area that was carved out of the library. Almost like a bubble was pushed to make a cave within books. It's a space that looks out of place, even for this strange place.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. Well, so was it like, did we walk through a portal, or is it actually still part and parcel of the library?
Oh, it's still just part of the library.
Yeah, it's just different.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just very different.
Interesting.
So was it? Did you say it was like rough stone and stuff?
No, it's like the books were carved out. Like there was the shelves all came through here and something carved out a chamber within the middle of the stacks.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, we kind of go to the, hang out in the chamber. Is there anybody
on.
in the chamber?
There is not, but as you're hanging out, you hear kind of a scraping sound working its way towards you, and then you see a lantern bobbing back and forth and being moved before you witness a small kind of lizard-like creature wearing almost like a blue bathrobe and carrying books in one hand and a lantern hanging from a walking stick, a crook, in the other, as he makes his way down between the stacks and to where you are at. He sees you, but he never breaks stride. He just keeps walking towards you.
Well, good on him. He's got confidence.
Is he a kobold?
He is. You recognize him. He looks very familiar.
Yes. Yes, I imagine he is. Okay, this is...
Oh.
All right, so
Okay.
Dane's gonna let somebody else kind of take their conversation, because he doesn't want to
Hello, small slave.
ruin his
Creature.
chances of cooperation with this being, because he's afraid that he might have his descendant trapped in a gemstone, or maybe an ancestor or something, some member. So he's just going to kind of step back a little bit and have someone else talk to this Kurgadvarn.
Fair enough. And I do not think that person should be me. I've never been good with conversation skills. I do not know how Margaret fancied me. It just kind of happened. So I vouch for literally anybody else talking here.
All right, Ray or Alpha?
Alpha, do you wanna?
Would you like me to converse with the small slave creature that lives within your amulet?
Okay, not Alpha. Alrighty, fine. I'm not too good with social interaction myself, though. Look, okay, Dane, we don't have the best communicative abilities here. All of us are outcasts and weirdos who lived in woods or in isolation for multiple years at a time.
Just do the best you can, Ray.
Alrighty. What do I even start with? Just a hello, salutations, how you doing? What's your name?
Sure.
Alrighty. Greetings, what's your name?
He just kind of pushes past you, sets his books down into this area, and he goes, Kurgan.
Well, nice meeting you. Say, do you think you could happen to help us out with finding something?
I am not your mother. I do not find things for people.
Hell, you don't have to get so persnickety there, sir. I was just asking you a favor.
Favors. You know what they do to people who ask favors in libraries? They treat them like me. Treat them like a kobold. Call you all sorts of things, even though you're the smartest one here.
Sure. Well, I'm definitely not the smartest thing that has graced this Mother Earth, but if you can help us out, maybe we can give you something in return.
What are you looking for?
We're looking for a person.
Actually, I think this is the person we're looking for.
Alrighty.
Why are you coming here looking for a person? This is a library. We don't keep people here, we keep books. Although some of them did used to be people.
You do make a good point. Well...
You really want some flavor? Go to the biographies section. Talk about that one varying from person to person.
We need help with strategy or someone that can help us out. So just kind of tell him, kind of run him through the whole story.
Well, alrighty, listen here, Mr. Cobalt. I'm gonna tell you a story, and it's a long one, so you might as well sit down.
So he kind of squats and crosses his arms and stares at you with his head cocked to the side. About 15 degrees, just kind of, giving you the eye.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go through our whole story. I kind of whiff over the first few parts. But basically, these magical things called the Old Ones started breaking out. Except we're from the future, so it hasn't happened yet here. So, we were trying to fight one of them in the future, and we got sent back in time. And we need to figure out how to get back to the future, or some other thing to help us out here, because we have no idea what we're doing here.
He just goes, got it. All right. Let me think about this. You're obviously here for some reason. You didn't just randomly get sent to this point in time. Something must have happened here. So, you said you shot something, there was a bright light, and then you were here. So, I can tell you that thing has nothing to do with whatever that old one was, and it has everything to do with that other thing that was obviously releasing the old one, probably all the old ones. So, if you're here, that means that whatever that is started here because you released all the power back to where it started.
Interesting. Well, do you know of any books in this here library that could possibly give us some more information? I can't read said books, but I'm sure my co-conspirators will help us out.
Well, generally libraries contain histories, not prophecies, but I can't imagine there's anything here. Probably what you need is out there. If you can find whatever that thing was that started your whole problem and stop it, then there won't be the problem to begin with, and then you won't be back in time.
I see. So it's completely rewrite the timeline.
Yeah. It's actually a very good idea.
Alrighty, time to go hunt down Theseus. I should have captured him with a hunter's mark the first time we met, but...
I don't think Theseus is
No, I don't think.
It's not Theseus.
Celestial being was the first thing that brought us together.
Yeah, it's not the Celestial. We're basically talking about that tattooed thing that was on top of the blacks. Probably the boss, honestly.
Yeah, the thing that I shot.
Yeah.
True.
So, I mean, I think the boss is behind this whole thing. Sounds like. We're talking to Kurgadvarn here.
I don't really know enough about the boss in order to track him down, though.
No. We're going to need some... To take on the boss, we're probably going to need some really OP kind of weapons or something. Or something that will lock the boss away. Maybe you could ask Abby or Ray. Maybe you could ask Kurgid if there's like the equivalent of a genie lamp or something we can use to lock a very powerful demon-like creature away in.
Okay, so do you think there's any possible way we could lock like any magical item, amulet, whatever that could lock an individual inside of something, specifically a demon or something of similar essence?
Yeah, there's lots of stuff like that, but it sounds like you probably don't need it. I mean, if you're here before that thing gets the power, then it ought to just be like, fighting one of you.
All right. Well, I guess we just need to find the
I suppose so.
Do you do you have any knowledge of location or existence of some really powerful weapons that might help us?
I not here. My study has nothing to do with weapons. I don't think there's anything.
So what exactly is your study? What do you study here?
I show you. Come. And he takes you down a kind of narrow hallway and turns the corner, and he shows you basically a bunch of little pieces of crystal, and they kind of are kind of reddish in color. And he says, "These are seeds of great power. In this state, this is all I could do, but in this state, they can do almost nothing. But when I grow them, when they can become larger, maybe the size of my fist or your fist, then they have the power to capture all of the energy that I could ever need to sustain myself and study forever. I could pass it on. I could trade literally the energy of life."
Okay. All right.
Big goals.
Yes, I have a feeling that you are going to be successful in your endeavor.
Thank you. I appreciate the blessings. There are many here who they do not believe me. They make fun of me. But the answers are here. I just have to find them.
Okay. Just out of curiosity's sake, do you have any relatives that are running around here?
No. I am alone. I had a brother once, but I have not seen him in so long. I can't even remember what he looks like.
What was his name? You know, just out of curiosity.
I have not thought of that name in so long. Karl, Karishnikov, or Kazakh, or I don't even remember. God, I am a terrible brother.
Does Kashnak Varn ring any bells?
You know him! Have you seen him?
Nope. No. Just heard of the name. Just heard the name, yeah.
Where did you hear this name?
Nowhere in particular. Why do you want to know so badly? Do you want to rekindle your brotherly friendship?
I have not spoken with him in generations, please.
Dane gives Ray an absolutely furious, fulminating glare, and then brings out his gemstone and gives it a rub.
What? Why would you do that? Let them have their reunion.
Because Target was able, so, you know.
Alright, well, you rub out Kashak, and he pops into existence, and... Ow! And he turns around, and... And Kurgan's just, like, in shock, just... What the... And then gives him a big hug.
Aww.
And then there's a bunch of, like, chattering in kobold, which no one speaks. They just talk to each other, in hisses and stuff for a while. And then all of a sudden, Kurgid gives you, Dane, a super dirty look.
I figured.
And then after a while, Kashak just turns to you and says, I hate you, but thank you.
You're welcome, Kashak.
And then they give each other one last hug, and as Kashak is starting to fade, and then he disintegrates back into the stone.
Release Kashak Barn.
I don't have any knowledge on how to release Kashak Barn. All Dane knows is this is a family heirloom that's been in his family for generations. He doesn't know how Kashak came to be imprisoned in the gem at all, or how it even came into his family's possession. It's kind of been lost to time. So
yeah, and Kashak doesn't really particularly want to share.
Yeah. So all right. So then Dane turns to Kurgid and says, "All right. Thank you for your help. Is there any other anything else you can think of that might help us in our quest?"
You see him kind of, rutted for a while and says, "You have helped my brother. You do not realize it, but you are doing a good thing. So let me tell you this. Whatever you are looking for is going to have more power than you can conceive. But it is not there yet. He is like me, standing on the precipice. If you can stop him, you can prevent everything that you have told me about."
All right. Sounds great. Okay. Now we just got to figure out where he is and where we can find him. Have you heard of a being called the Boss?
Does not ring a bell.
I didn't think it would. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your help, Kurgid. And by way of payment, here. And then he kind of takes off the gem and he presses it into Kurgid's hand and then just says, maybe you can figure out how to release him. But he is kind of a grumpy sort, so,
Kurgid just holds it, his hand shaking. And you think there could be a smile on those lizard lips, but kobolds don't smile. He just gives you a nod and hangs the gem up next to his lantern and goes back to work.
All right. Well, that should hopefully kind of pay back Kashak a little bit for all the stuff he's had to do over the ages. So, of course, with my luck, next time I run into him, he's going to incinerate me with a fireball. So,
I doubt it. I think you probably just did the best thing possible for him.
All right, cool. Well, so that pretty much answers that. So now we gotta go figure out where the boss might be hiding.
Yeah, don't really know where we should start.
Well, there's one of two places. So we can either try and find a way to the weir, which I really don't want to do if I don't have to, or we can try and find information and see if the that labyrinth that we went through exists, because the place we ended up at was on the other side of that labyrinth. That's where the black stone was. That's where the boss was.
True.
Or we can try and find somebody that might have knowledge about the different, demonic realms or beings or what have you. So that's kind of where direction I think we should be going. I don't know. Does anyone else have any theories or ideas?
Not particularly. No, we don't really have many options.
Alpha, what do you think?
I am still curious by the entire situation we are in, and I am more interested in learning about this time.
Okay, all right. Kurgid, is there anyone around here that specializes in demonic beings?
Demonic, no. No demonic. But I have been thinking about what you say. If the effects on the old ones are to be releasing them, then that means the being must be from this realm. The gods would never allow demons to the material plane to do such a thing.
Okay. Who in this time might have knowledge of the old ones?
Beyond the library, I do not know. Perhaps the wise men, the sages of the great kingdoms, learned magi of the palaces. There is much knowledge in the world. We collect as much as we can, but more is created every day.
Okay, all right. Thank you. It's nice meeting you. You've been a big help.
Yes.
Alright.
All right. Well, I think we've probably learned as much as we can in the library.
It's sad. Now the rest we have to figure out on our own. Despite some of our higher intelligent marks, we're not exactly a bright group.
Well, I think we're bright enough. We're just trying to find the information we need that, before the age of Google is kind of, it's a little bit harder. So,
What's Google?
Who is
Exactly.
this Google you speak of? I have not heard of them before.
it
He's
is
a
more
goddess.
of what than a who. It's a mythical. Just think of it as a mythical library card catalog, which has the combined information of the entire world at your fingertips.
Fascinating. It also gives
Sounds
me an idea.
unrealistic.
What if we utilize this time to our greatest advantage possible? We determine approximately 3,000 years before our origin points.
Okay. So, what is your thoughts on that, Alpha? How
I'm
would we
thinking
utilize this. Say what?
Oh. the best possible use I can think of is if we need to have people to support us in the future, why not we spread Gandhianism now? Then, when we return to our time, we may have an army to battle.
I think Kurgan's advice was we kind of take care of it now, and then we won't need an army in the future.
He just wants to see how far fast he can spread Gondoria in a more primitive society.
Indeed,
can always
especially
use
with
an
a
army
city that is burgeoning with technological development. It is a perfect breeding point for Gandhiism. Pandaria shall spread like the plague.
All right. Well, I think my next thought was to go towards the site that what is going to be the capital, because underneath the capital is where the labyrinth was and that place of power. So that might actually be a good next step to take anyway.
Most excellent indeed.
So, all right. So we're going to head off to the future site of the capital.
Now, I'm trying to remember. I think when you guys were here before, didn't you have a gateway that you could use that basically took you there? Or at least took you to the city?
I honestly don't remember. It's been so long ago.
Yeah, I don't remember either. That wasn't something I wrote down because I didn't think it would be important. But yeah, I believe there was, there's various passageways and doors out of the library that drop you into different places. Oh, that's right. It takes you, the closest one takes you out into a like a forest, and then you can walk to a nearby city, which then you can get to the capital easily from there.
Yep, sounds right.
Cool. Yes, because that's the place where was it Ray fell out of the tree?
No, I think that was Castro's. Yeah, Castro's got hit by something, reduced his hit points down to 0, and he fainted and fell out of the tree.
And then I
Okay.
had to carry him.
Oh, that's right. That was pretty funny.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well, so I guess you guys can, make it out and be along your journey. Being that it's a familiar forest, Ray is able to successfully guide you without any issue.
Yay.
And you guys make it all the way to first the town, and then onward to, the next little, well, what you had known as a town before is now just a tiny little hamlet with barely anyone in it.
Yep.
But still, you're able to follow it roughly to where you need to go. You find a much less elaborate system of crossings than existed later. This is more of a... Let me put it this way. You come up on a shore instead of a dock, and there is a paddle boat instead of a, barge.
Huh.
So...
Okay.
You can negotiate passage to the central island here.
Okay. All right.
Should you wish to go there.
Well, I'm just thinking, because I'm trying to figure out whether or not Theseus's men are still looking for us, whether or not we need to make a disguise or not. Well, I guess what we can do is we can go to the island. Ray can cast Without a Trace again, and kind of, wander around, get the lay of the land, and see if maybe we need to disguise ourselves or not.
Or have Castro
Sure.
swallow shape into something inconspicuous and he goes trying about like a stray cat or something. We have multiple ways to disguise ourselves.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you gave that little wooden box to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's I put that in my backpack. So we actually have plenty of money. So, we're flush.
For score.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll negotiate with the paddle boat for getting us to the island.
Awesome. Well, since you have plenty of money, I'll just say you successfully do that. You get your passage, and They take you out, and again, it's a kind of a shore drop. There's some, guards, low-level ones, just kind of watching the dock, making sure everything's, in order. And you are, let's just say they're kind of up above you. You're down on the shore. There's a whole bunch of activity, so you're not, being particularly scrutinized, but, it is noticed that you're there.
Okay. All right. Well, I think first things first, let's see if we can find an inn to kind of stay at and make a base of operations.
Okay, so you guys just don't want to do anything. Yeah, okay. You walk up the walkway.
Actually, tell you what, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
You want to just cast without a trace?
Just as a precaution?
Yes.
Alright, but if it fades away and I can't get it, that's your fault.
No, that's fine. We'll have, we'll have a long rest. It'll come back.
Alrighty. So yeah, I'll cast without a trace. Let me roll to make sure it doesn't critically fail. That is a 9, so I'm good.
Cool. Alright, well you cast it, and you guys pass without a trace all the way up the dock, and you find a modest inn not too far off the dock. There seems to be quite the lot of activity as people are, coming and going and talking and drinking and all of that.
Okay. So Ray, you want to dispel your spell so that we can actually go in and get a couple rooms?
Yeah.
All right. So she dispels it, and then we walk in and ask the innkeeper for, 3 rooms, 2 rooms, probably 2 rooms.
Sure. No problem. There you go. Upstairs.
Ooh, rooms.
Well, that's why I only said.
Over my head.
That's why I always said 2, because you can kind of sleep wherever you want, Castros.
Yeah, is there any potted plants? It's the best I can do.
I don't know.
Unless there's still unprocessed, undeveloped land around here that has trees.
There's very possibly like a stable with straw and hay and sleep next to some animals.
That's not the same. They're domesticated animals.
Well, there's
I like
rats.
the animals that try to chew my feet in the middle of the night.
There's rats. I'm sure there's rats in there.
I'm sure they have a donkey or two. They like to nip at appendages.
I want the thrill that I might not be alive when I wake up.
Then sleep with a donkey.
Anyway, so we'll leave Castros to his own devices because
I'll go find somewhere.
he's a little persnickety with his accommodations.
Any trees nearby?
Yeah, there's still trees here. They haven't all been removed yet.
There we go. Climb big looking tree. Make a little place for myself up on a branch and
hope you don't get busted for vagrancy.
I can imagine that, I'm settling down and I go to, pat Jeremy on the head but realize he's not there.
There, that's poignant.
Yeah, it's like a... Oh, wow. Yeah, you found a huge tree. It's, obviously one that was kept by, protection of royal decree or something. It's huge, and you climb really high up it.
Perfect.
All right, cool. Well, what time of day is it?
Oh, let's see. It's about 3 in the afternoon.
Okay. Dane is gonna see if he can find a dress shop.
Okay. You looking to fancy up Ray or?
No, he's thinking more along the lines of a disguise.
Yeah. I guess there's probably some kind of a P.T. Barnum-esque thing going on where you could be a bearded lady.
Well, no, I was just thinking about dressing up like a female dwarf. Supposedly
It's-
they're bearded.
True. I always forget that.
And, Dane doesn't have a really long beard himself, so, I would say
Pass.
theoretically he could probably pass for, possibly a dwarven woman.
Yeah. I'm sure you could. I mean, you'll have to deal with the what is that? The capilosexuals, those who are turned on by hair.
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty, unless there's a sizable dwarven segment in the city. Probably not a huge worry. And two, if they get a little bit too handsy, I feel confident in Dane's ability to sucker punch him and knock him out.
I just know at some point you're gonna have to roll like a 1d20 and you're gonna get like a 2 and there's gonna be like some guy that just goes like, it takes a little hairy woman to get me off big.
Yeah, and then Dane will say no means no, and if the guy doesn't listen, then bam!
Oh god. I mean, flashbacks to the Drew Carey show. Alright.
I'm having flashbacks to the time I got wasted in a bar and then broke somebody's arm in an arm wrestling match.
That's even better.
So anyway, so Castros can wild shape. I think Dane's gonna dress as a woman to kind of throw guards off the scent. Ray and Alpha, we might want to alter our appearance a little bit just to, pass more easily through this town without being
Just in case. Big enough question to be remembered.
exactly.
You
So
all have to play my game now. Changing shape. Well, not literally changing shape, but you know.
just appearance.
Well, I already have a change of clothes, so Ray is just gonna change into her other set of clothes, and then take her short sword and just cut her hair.
Okay.
Doing like a Mulan thing.
Yep.
So Ray's gonna try and pass as a boy. And then I don't know what we're gonna do with Alpha.
Put a tarp over him, put him in a wagon, carry him with us. I could turn
Have him
into a
float
cow
up.
pulling the wagon.
Maybe his looks are actually a benefit, because we can prove more easily the glory of Gond.
I was thinking more like fold you up and tell everyone you're like quarter of firewood.
I was thinking more along the lines of, I think Dane's gonna look, maybe dressing him up in a set of black robes, and then just tell everyone that he is in a stage production where he's gonna play Death.
I mean,
So there you go. Actually, that's actually a pretty good. I think that's a pretty good. Make a good cover story. We are a traveling troupe of circus performers. A female dwarf. And then Castros. You can be like a trained dog if you wanted to be. You do tricks.
trained dogs are overrated. What about like a trained alligator?
Well, whatever would make us money, I guess.
Just say you're from Russia and walk around with a bear.
There you go.
I could be a trained bear.
Yep, Castros can be a trained bear.
Cycle. No, I'm not humiliating myself with a unicycle.
And
A
Alpha
juggle, that's the true art.
can be Death.
Sound interesting.
Yeah, you can explore your thespian side there, Alpha.
So, will this assist us in spreading the word of Gond?
Sure, you can advocate it as we travel around. But just keep walking.
It'll assist us in our quest, but I promise when we have finished our quest, I will help you spread the word of God.
Excellent.
Just tell him it'll improve his performance in spreading the word.
That's true. Eventually, it might help his charisma. So, anyway, all right. So, Dane's going to kind of try and find the nearest, I don't know, seamstress shop and see if he can't get a couple of costumes for himself and Alpha.
Awesome. Well, you find a place, and real quick, roll me a performance.
Ooh,
Oh, God.
that's skidded. It didn't roll, so that's just a 2.
Wait, if it's skidded, does it count?
Don't be giving him the nice way out.
Oh, even with my -1, I got 17.
All right,
Oh, nice.
so perfect. So you guys go into the shop, and Dane, you are so over the top. You are overacting to the extreme, and the guy's just a little freaked out, just like, oh god, I'm not one of these wacko thespian wannabes. But then Alpha, when he turns to you and is like, my friend here is playing death, and you just like look solemn and imposing, and the guy's like, holy shit, yep, okay, I get it, he's scary, yep, I believe him.
Fantastic.
And I guess there's just a giant brown bear following them. Semi-complacently.
Well, I don't know that you need to actually. You gotta stay at the inn.
No.
We're just dress shopping.
Oh, true. I guess.
That would have been funny though,
I'm
going to
bored,
get a dress
though.
for the bear.
Yeah, I want to come with. I'm bored, gonna be bored in the inn, so just giant brown bear following you guys around.
All right. Okay.
And you walk in, and the guy's just like, you can't bring that in here.
I'm offended. How dare you call me a that?
So maybe what you can do is, take a couple of the mannequin heads and start juggling them.
The bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Castros the Barrel is going to take a couple of the guy's mannequin heads and start juggling them.
Castros, please roll me a performance.
Oh god. Alright.
I'm looking forward to this.
Don't fail. Because I said I wasn't gonna be a basic bear and just ride a unicycle. No, I'm gonna juggle. I'm gonna be a bear that juggles. That's an 18.
Awesome. Yep, you go in and you get up on your hind legs and you smack a head off and then another head and you're juggling them. And the seamstress is just like, you see a head moving in circles watching this in awe. Just like, what? It actually is somewhat distracts them from Dane's overacting.
Just as a bear, I stick my tongue out at them as I'm juggling.
Then Dane tells the seamstress, just think of the crowd that this bear can, potential customers that this bear can draw into your shop.
Yeah, I don't work for exposure. You're gonna have to pay.
Well, yes, I'm just saying. Just you let the bear do the bear's thing, it might be a benefit in the long run.
Yes, totally. But okay, you want to dress for the bear too?
No. Maybe like a cute bow tie or something, like a collar that he can wear around his neck.
Castros gives like a grunt of like slight disapproval, but also like as long as it's fashionable, kind of, but like in bear talk.
Hey, bow ties are cool.
Oh yeah, that has to be a good bow tie. Don't go cheap on me now. Give me a nice bow tie. Come on.
They just you see the nodding, yes.
And we can't really understand you in bear form, so.
True. I just go. "Ah."
All right.
Just walk on over to like the fancier bow tie and around, and then like kind of grip one gently with my teeth and bring it over to you guys.
Still juggling.
Juggling whilst I don't think I am that good. No, I'll drop the mannequin heads and pat on over to the bow ties, sniff around a bit, and then gently grip. Let's go with a nice like grassy colored one. It's like all green and it has like some like maybe some like floral patterns or like even some like woody patterns on it. And
like paisley.
No, not paisley. Something naturey, and then just bring it over to you guys and place it down. I'm a very well-trained bear.
Apparently. But the paisley one would have been good. Your troop could have been like the Purple Rain or something.
Yeah. Just channeling our inner prince.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So anyway,
So he'll tell you, yes, we'll get to work right away. Come back and you can check in tomorrow. Maybe I'll be done. I'm not sure, but definitely by the next day.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Alright.
It'll definitely be the next day. That's hilarious. I just threw 2 D20s and I got a 10 and a 20.
Okay.
Nice.
Sounds good. Well, you realize there's the inn that we're staying at has a tavern, so you can drink there.
Well, you heard her.
All right, so back to the inn we troop.
Yeah, just a bear following suit.
Perfect. So you guys walk down there, catching some attention of the bear, but it also keeps people more or less at bay because they don't want to mess with the bear, or people that are walking along with the bear and don't seem to mind.
The friend of what I'm scared of is who I'm scared of.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of like what is it? The tigers have spots on their ears, so to look like eyes because whatever their predator was, it scared them away.
Yeah, that someone was like, I would just want to know who like is the predator of a tiger. Like,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Alrighty, we're sitting down. She's gonna be like, alrighty, I want drinks. Bartender, drinks. Give me your highest amount of alcohol possible. I want a pint of it right now.
He kind of looks at you shocked. You could either persuasion or intimidation. Take a pick.
Persuasion. I'm not trying to start a fight or anything,
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't really matter which one I have because I have 0 pluses in either of them.
Okay.
That's a 14.
Wow. He says, okay, you say so. There you go, mister.
Alrighty, thanks. I just down it.
And his eyes are just in shock. Like, did that just happen in front of me? Like, oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, it's a good thing she has an elf's constitution.
Yeah, no kidding. There was a video I remember going around where like a guy was in a bar and he just like walks up and grabs a bottle of like Fireball whiskey or something like that and just chugs the whole thing.
God.
Yeah, it was so gross.
I bet he's gonna hate life in about an hour.
Yeah. Ugh. Can't imagine. Well, I'd hate life immediately. I can't stand the even smell of that stuff.
It's I don't know. A year or so ago, I probably thought it wouldn't have been too bad, but now I've gotten used to drinking Scotch neat, so Fireball might not be all that appealing now.
I just that's that particular cinnamon that they use as a flavoring. I just can't. Ugh, something about it.
Yeah. I like it. I like it in Pepsi and stuff. It's a good thing to use if you're want a whiskey and Coke type thing.
Sheesh. Nah, I'm good, thanks. Okay. Well, Castros, you go and you sleep in your tree. Oh, yep, nothing happens. There's not even a storm or a stiff breeze to worry about.
Darn.
Sorry, I rolled very low, so I couldn't really justify anything. Let's see.
Have I made any new converts?
Have you tried?
Yeah, all waking time. If I'm not necessary to be hibernating or supporting the group, I will be preaching.
All right, fine. You're in the tavern preaching. Roll a performance for spreading Gondoria.
Oh, 18.
Yes. Why, in fact, 3 people have come and started listening to you intently.
Excellent. The seeds are being planted.
So,
Dane's just going to kind of nurse a pint of ale and keep an eye on Ray and Alpha and make sure nothing untoward happens to them.
all right.
I can handle myself, Dane.
Yeah, I know you can, but it's what we're companions. That's what they do to each other.
Right on. Are you listening around to other people talking in the tavern, or you're just watching them and ignoring everyone else? Like, what are you?
I'm just kind of, I'm watching the general tenor of the patrons in the tavern. I mean, obviously, I'm paying more attention to Alpha and Ray, but as long as they're not actively getting into fights and stuff, I can spare attention to conversation.
Okay. Roll me a perception really quick.
Checking. Ooh, that is a 19.
Damn. All right. You hear a couple of guys talking about what sounds like a fantastical story about the new king. That he was having hordes of people in and out, and at one point he got mad at someone and just had them executed, but then there was a dark visitor that came and threatened him. There was some whispering between him and his advisor, and before you knew it, whoever it was that came ended up bound in their own chains and being sent packing out the window. That there's a rumor that the dark visitor was death himself, and that the king had conquered death and thus was safe and would definitely be left alone. All sorts of just this crazy things that make the king sound like this just brilliant, mighty, supernatural person. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Well, that sounds like something for us to start investigating in the morning.
You make that note, and you continue to sip your ale. You laugh at the people who start telling jokes and finding companionship in the Gondian sermons that Alpha is preaching. You notice Ray arm wrestling someone, throwing a coin down, and then basically almost snapping their shoulder off and chuckling. And all seems well with the world as the night fades to black, and we pick up here rested the next morning in the next episode.
Whoop.
Perfect.
Well, you guys did awesome again. I mean, I know you were worried about what to do or where to go, but I think that was just a great series of like, let's try this. And I think it just really built into the story well and got us to a good place.
This was kind of a nice, fun, kind of low-key kind of
It was.
episode. I think it kind of sets us up well for the future.
Next episode, though, we move on to stage 2 of grief, which is anger. That'll be
Awesome.
interesting.
You just wake up pissed off up in the top of your tree.
Well, probably what will happen is it'll trigger because I'll wake up and expect Jeremy to be there once again because I'm still not used to it after having him for so long. And it'll just spur something in me. And we'll find out what happens.
I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah. This
I
thing,
really like
love
that.
playing Casteros, but at the same time, his more, like, evilish / like, meaner intentions are hard to do because I myself want to help the party, but I have to play the character, so I'm like, alright, time to mess things up for everybody.
Oh, I think it's great.
No, the Chaos Spits are fine, but it's like when
you go dark, it's not quite as much fun.
it's just hard for me to do because it works for the character, obviously, but you know.
This has been an Azentuary LLC production. Find us online at azentuary.com for character bios, merchandise, Patreon, and more. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so funny story. That just happened. I was resting my wrist on the D20, and I pulled up later, and it left an imprint. So there's like a 12, like in my wrist, like a backwards 12.